It has already been a month since I've been here, which is crazy. I mean, time went by quite fast, I have to say. I've been now in Taiwan for a month teaching English, and in the weekend I usually went around, did something, or traveled to Taipei, which is actually where I am now. And I figured since I'm leaving in a week, I thought this would be a good idea to do a little overview of what traveling in Taiwan and then specifically Taipei is like, give you my recommendations and tell you what I think. So if you're new here, welcome back to the Out of Office Club, where every week I talk about what it is like to travel, be a digital nomad, and I give you my thoughts on travel destinations occasionally as well. But yeah, I just talk about all things travel. So if that sounds good to you, don't forget to like, subscribe. It really helps. Today is all about Taiwan. I cannot believe it's already been a month. I think it's been very nice, although I will have to be honest, Taiwan did have to grow on me a little bit. I think my first week or 2 weeks or so here, I was not very impressed. And I think I just had a bit of the wrong expectations, or I wasn't really doing or staying in the right places. So that's also why I wanted to record this video, because right now, like I said, it's growing on me. I think Taiwan could be a really, really nice place, or is a really nice place to travel to, whether that is to learn Chinese, teach English, or just to see a very, very interesting culture. So that's what I want to talk about today. If you follow me on social media, you might have also seen that last weekend there was the Dragon Boat Festival here in Taiwan, which is, I thought, a really big national holiday. And it was actually quite a bit smaller than I expected, but still really nice. So we went to the river, watched the little boats, matches basically, on the river, and it was really nice. It was just a fun day of watching the boats, nice food, everyone was out, but there weren't that many people, and I also didn't really see anything happening in the city so much, apart from some markets. So it wasn't as big of a deal as I thought, but still really nice. I will make some more content about it soon, kind of explaining where to go, what to do, what it's like. But it was an interesting thing to witness. So let's get into the information for today. I want to talk about kind of why go to Taiwan in the first place, where to stay, food, how to get around, things you should know that I wish I knew before I came here. Because if you know me, if you know anything about me, you know that I suck at research. I generally am more of the lazy traveler, where I will just go. I won't really do much research. I won't really check it. I'll just go and then see what happens, see what I think. And sometimes that works out for me, sometimes not so much. I think this time I should have done a little bit more research, but you're better prepared than I am when you go to Taiwan. So let's get into it. I think Taiwan at the moment, as far as what I can see online, is becoming more and more popular to travel to, which makes sense because it's a very interesting culture. The people are very nice. It is safe. The food is cheap. Again, the people are super nice. The transport is good. The infrastructure is good. And everything still feels very, local. Like it's not made for tourists, I feel like. And that's a good thing. But then on the other hand, while I would say that it is getting more popular, only last week I was sitting and I was getting my nails done, actually. And one of the, I think it was the daughter of the owner or something, she spoke very good English, and she asked me, like, why are you in Taiwan? Like, this is not how do you even know about Taiwan? This is not a popular destination. So I think that also shows that they're not that really used to tourists yet. And that is maybe also why this is a really good time to go and visit Taiwan. It is not that famous yet. They were even surprised I knew where it was. So it's not that famous yet. It is still super nice, very local experiences, very just real, It's not like you see tourists on every corner. Actually, I see barely any tourists. The only tourists I see really are here in my hotel. But then as soon as I walk on the streets, even if I go to any night markets or kind of more touristy things, it is still filled with Taiwanese people and not just foreigners. So I think that's really, really nice. Plus it is really interesting. So if you do come and visit here, which again, I do highly recommend, and you're staying in Taipei, then there are 3, maybe 4 areas that I really recommend to stay. One is, I'm not going to pronounce any of these right, okay? One is Dan, D-A-A-N, which I think is very good for more longer stays because it's all a bit more modern and convenient and nice, like lots of cafes. There's a park there, so I think that is a really good area to stay in if you're staying longer or digital nomad. Then there's Ximending. That is a lot more street food and nightlife. It's a bit younger, it's a bit more messy, central, but very, very nice. I stayed in that area too and I loved it. Then there is Zhongshan, which is like in between, bit more relaxed, still central, nicer. Those I think are really good. And then the other place, so I have all my notes here, is Zhongshan is about it. Maybe you can go a little bit more south towards Wanhua, but I think that more Zhongshan is good. And specifically, I've been staying at the Meander Hostel Hotel, and they're really nice. All of their hostels and hotels, the amenities are amazing, the staff is really friendly, the locations are really good. And you can either stay at their shared rooms, so in their shared rooms with bunk beds, or you can get your own room, but then you still have the convenience of having the common area to meet people, which is of course really nice. So I highly recommend staying in one of those. They have 2 or 3 locations, I think. So check that out. But that already makes a big deal. I think I always say that location is very important, so do your research on that. Make sure you stay in a good area that fits what you need. Is that more fancy in cafes and co-working, or is it more street food and local experience? Because I do quite like it. This hotel specifically, the Meander 1948 or 84, is in a very nice location. All around is just street food and small shops, so I love it. Makes a big difference, I think, each neighborhood. Then, talking about food, there are a couple things that I highly recommend you to try or go to. I think the one thing you have to do is go to a couple night markets. I've been to 2 so far. One was where did I go? Raohe night market. I don't know how you pronounce any of this. Raohe night market. That one was, I think, quite touristy. Super busy. There was so much food, is unreal. If you do go, stop at the very first stall and it's called a pepper pork bun, I think. Amazing. So good. And then if you just walk around, you have so much good food. So try that. I also went to a smaller night market, the Ningxia. Also really nice, a lot smaller. I didn't see any tourists there, so that was amazing. So it's a lot more local, still really good food. What to get or what to eat? I have tried the scallion pancakes twice now. I actually just had one. Really good. Then I had some things with salted egg, which sounds a bit strange, but those have all been really good. You have to try bubble tea. That's just really big here. Delicious and super sugary, but I love it. There's a lot of different kind of rice dishes usually with pork, all delicious as well. Try that. Stinky tofu was recommended to me now by 3 locals that I really have to go and try that. I still haven't, so that is the plan for tonight, maybe tomorrow, because can't leave without. The pork noodles are really good. There's just a lot of really good food. Ooh, and the crispy donuts. Doesn't really matter where you get them from. There's one really famous shop, which truly is really good, but they have crispy donuts everywhere. So I think for the food, it is already kind of worth to go to Taiwan. Although at first I wasn't that impressed, but I think now I'm starting to see where exactly to eat, and that is definitely street food. Okay, don't go to restaurants. I've made that mistake, I think, too many times now here. Eat on the street. If there's a table on the side of the walkway, the food is probably good. You know, it's you eat where the locals eat, and they eat out on the street, and it's all very simple, and it might not look great, but it will taste amazing. So go there. Don't be shy. Try all of the strange food that you see. Then, on a more practical note, there are a couple things that I feel like you need to know before you come here. First one, English is limited. Probably a given. I mean, you can't really expect everyone to speak English, of course, but here it is definitely quite limited. So any of the hotels and places I've stayed at have all been great. Also, my host, for example, great English, of course, but otherwise, there's barely anything in English. Most menus will have no English, and if they have a translation, it will just say chicken. No other context, while then in Chinese it has a very long name. So you really do need a good app. Like, I use the Google Translate app to translate everything, because you need it for all of the menus, anytime you need anything, all the websites, everything. Nothing is translated. So you cannot rely on English. You 100% need to carry cash all the time. Even in some bigger restaurants, you can only pay with cash. So make sure you have some. Something else that I did not expect is that it is very, very hot. The temperature here is a lot, and I'm here it's June now. It's very hot, especially from June through September, apparently. Super humid as well. So in case you're wondering what's happened with my hair, humidity. It's happened with my hair. I'm not happy with it. But, you know, so pack light, bring lots of sunscreen. Bring one of those portable fans or buy one here. They are amazing. Everyone has one. It's a lifesaver. But at the same time, while it's really hot, it is also very rainy. So make sure to bring an umbrella. And then there are certain, if you go by public transport, which honestly here is quite good, especially the MRT in Taipei is amazing, but also there's local buses. You need or you can get a travel card, an EasyCard. I think you can buy them at any 7-Eleven. I've got a really cute one. There's lots of designs, but you've probably also seen those videos where people buy a card reader thingy that looks like something completely different. Also very fun, also just as a souvenir. But I highly recommend getting one, putting some money on it. It just makes traveling a lot easier. Then hotels get a lot more expensive in the weekend, so just be aware of that. You definitely want to book a bit ahead. Last time I was here, or last weekend actually, because now it's Tuesday. Last weekend, hotels were quite full, and there wasn't that much choice, and it was all a lot more expensive than it was last night or this night. So keep that in mind. And the last thing I want to talk about is things to do, because there's, I think, a few things to do in Taipei that are nice. One of them is definitely just the night markets, but also Elephant Mountain, which I still haven't been yet actually. Oh, I think that was the plan for tonight. Might still go there tonight. Because from there you have a beautiful view over Taiwan, which I've unfortunately only seen in pictures so far. But that is a highlight, I think, in Taipei. And then the last one is the Taipei 101 or 101. It's the main building in Taipei that you see on all of the skyline pictures. Very impressive building. I think it's pretty cool. And you can see it from various spots in the city. I highly recommend going to, there's one park that's really nice. But wherever you go, it's just nice to see it from a view, also in the dark. So that I highly recommend. And then from Taipei, there's many day trips you can do, which I can't talk about because I haven't done any yet, but I might next week after I'm done teaching. But I would say Taiwan has been really nice. I did really enjoy it here so far, and I've got maybe a week and a half more, and then I go back to Thailand. But I highly recommend it for anyone who wants to really have a quite authentic experience of a country that is not yet overrun by tourists, is not touristy at all, I would say. Has good food, good prices, very friendly people, I think. The English is limited, so sometimes they come across as a bit rude, I think, but so far they all mean well. They've been really nice. So I highly recommend that. If you also are learning Chinese, I've seen so many people in the hotel or in the hostel that in the evening are studying Chinese. So I think that's also a really good reason to come here. Plus, of course, I've met quite a lot of people that are teaching English here. They're very, very focused on English. They know it's important and they want to learn better English. But I feel like I see, at least from what I've been told by my host as well, she said that the English level in schools is just not good. So a lot of parents want native speakers to come and teach their kids. And that's also the reason I'm here. Although I'm not a native English speaker, they had a spot and I was lucky enough that they accepted me. But that's how I arrived here as well, to teach English, which has been a really, really fun and great experience. So if you're looking for that, that's also, I think, a great reason to come here, great way to travel here and have some purpose, let's say. But yeah, it's great for, I think, backpacking, but also as a digital nomad. I could definitely see myself here, living here for longer, which fortunately I won't do because I will be going back to Thailand soon. But it is really great. So if you want to know more about a work exchange, I talk about that in, not the last, but the previous episode. I'll link it somewhere. Have a look at that, about how that works and what it is, because this is the third time I've done a work exchange and I highly, highly recommend it. And if you're planning a trip in Asia, I do recommend to add at least Taipei to your itinerary. Do a little trip to Taipei before you go back. And that was all for this week. Now I'm gonna go back to work and hopefully still do something tonight. Maybe go to that viewpoint now that I think about it. I'll let you know. Anyway, thank you for listening. Hope to see you again next week. If you want more travel tips, resources, I have a lot of discount codes. Have a look on my website, and then I hope to see you again next week. Thank you so much. Bye bye.